Whenever I listen to a political speech or read the words of our leaders, I fear that I have not heard anything that feels humane for years. Always the same words, the same lies. And the fact that people accept it, that the public's anger has not been able to put an end to these hollow clowns, is proof that people do not care how they are governed. They gamble, yes, gamble, on their whole lives and their so-called vital interests. Albert Camus. Source: Notebooks. The world rarely learns from the book the same lesson that the author wants to teach. George Bernard Shaw. Source: Plays by George Bernard Shaw. Published by Penguin, 2004. Life is not about when the storm will pass, but about learning how to dance in the rain. Seneca. I have no faith in human perfection. I believe that human labor will have no appreciable effect on humanity. Man is only more active now, not happier, not wiser, than he was 6,000 years ago. Edgar Allan Poe. Source: The Unknown Poe. It is wise to resort to follies to influence and to exert a greater influence on men. It is more effective than thoughts. Napoleon I, France. Source: Napoleon, in his own words, 1916. When we truly worship a thing, we love not only its clarity, but also its obscurity. We take pride in its obscurity. G.K. Chesterton. Source: Chesterton's Stories, Essays, and Poems, Durham, 1965. Old books are for writers, new books are for readers. Montesquieu. Source: Pensées et Fragments. The price of liberty is perpetual vigilance. Power always passes from the many to the few in secret. Wendell Phillips. Source: Speeches, Lectures, and Letters. Published 1863. A mistake repeated too often becomes a choice. Paulo Coelho. If you can ask the question, am I responsible for my actions or not, then you are responsible. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Source: Reader's Digest. There are people who surprise and delight, some who guide and teach. Some people's words stick in my mind so well that I often use those same words to express my own thoughts. Yes, because I feel that we have heard the same truth, but they have heard it better than I have. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Source: Word Character. Lectures and Biographical Sketches, 1883. Edgar Allan Poe. Years of love are forgotten in a moment of hate. Character is higher than intellect. A great soul will not only be strong in living, but also strong in thinking. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Progress is not an illusion. It happens, but it is slow and always disappointing. George Orwell. Inside the Whale and Other Essays, 1940. Knowledge does not enrich us. It takes us further away from the gigantic, mythical world in which we once lived as a birthright. Nushagar Carl Jung. Source: The Earth Has a Soul. The Nature Writings of C.G. Jung. Death is bitter, but the thought of dying without having lived is unbearable. Erich Fromm. Source: Man for Himself, 1947. Chapter 4. We have absolutely nothing except our thoughts. Source: Discourse on the Method, 1637. Part 3. René Descartes. It is said that art is not a mirror, but a hammer. It does not merely reflect, but creates. Leon Trotsky. Source: Literature and Revolution, 1924. Never invest in a business that you do not understand. Warren Buffett. Smart people learn from everything and everyone. Average people learn only from their experiences, while stupid people already have the answer to every question. Socrates. Beware of the man who does not return your blows. He neither forgives you nor allows you to forgive yourself. George Bernard Shaw. Source: Man and Superman, 1903. Maxims, Stray Sayings. It is better to be unhappy alone than to be unhappy with someone else. At least so far. Marilyn Monroe. Source: On Being Blonde. 2007, page 52. Happiness is the rarest thing I know among sensible people. Ernest Hemingway. The moment you betray yourself for the sake of beauty, you know you are an artist. Max Jacob. Source: Art Poétique, 1922. Necessity is ruthless, but that is the only test of inner strength. Every fool can live as he pleases. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Source: Goethe's Opinions on the World, Mankind, Literature, Science and Art, 1853. You cannot think clearly until you have paid the price for false belief. Heraclitus. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King, Jr. A human life is valuable only to the extent that it values the lives of others through love, friendship, honor, and compassion. Simone de Beauvoir. Source: Successful Aging, a Conference Report, 1974. Page 142. There is nothing more shameful in the world than to base one's life on lies and stories. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. The best way to make yourself happy is to try to make someone else happy. Mark Twain. Source: Mark Twain at your fingertips. Beechhurst Press, 1948. Page 41. I prefer the most severe criticism of an intelligent man to the thoughtless support of the masses. Johannes Kepler. Peace dies when the structure is shattered, when there is no place in the world that is yours, when you do not know where your friend is. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Source: Flight to Ara, 1942. I think that people cling to their hatred so stubbornly because they feel that when the hatred is gone, they will have to face the pain. James Baldwin. The Fire Next.